If you are a realtor looking to start posting on YouTube to get more listings but also building your personal brand, then this video is going to be for you, because by the end of this video, you're going to know what content to post, how to optimize your channel, best practices for titles and thumbnails, and the most important part, how to actually turn these views into leads as soon as your very first video. Now, my name is Aaron Chandra, and we've generated multiple seven figures in combined annual GCI for over 100 realtors all across Canada and the US over the last 5 years through YouTube and YouTube organic systems. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video. All right, so first things first, we're going to talk about naming and optimizing your channel. So really, you got to have a professional look and feel. It really amazes me how many realtors do not have a professional headshot, and it's nothing to overthink. It's actually super simple. All you need is a clear profile picture where someone can actually see your face. So not a logo of your team or whatever of your city, but literally of you and your face. Here are a couple super simple examples, really nothing crazy, right? So get a profile picture done, a headshot done, so you have one for your profile picture. Now for your channel name, here's kind of a nuanced one. There's a couple little tips here that you can use so you actually rank higher. Now, this doesn't have to be super complicated, but ideally you have in your title, your channel name, where you actually serve. So here's a couple examples, your name and then what area you're serving. So for example, Aaron Chandra, living in Calgary. Aaron Chandra, life in Toronto. Aaron Chandra, moving to Edmonton. And the reason why you want to have these last, 2 or 3 keywords here is because people are going to be searching these keywords within YouTube. So when they're searching for them, your channel is more likely to get indexed higher than someone who just has their name. Right? Now, one thing here that I see a lot of people, they don't really put a lot of effort or thought into it, but it is your channel banner, right? So make it clean and professional, and most importantly, make sure it's mobile optimized, because a lot of people have banners that, they might look good on your desktop, but then when it comes to mobile, and a lot of people are on YouTube on mobile, they look a little wonky, right? So ideally, you'll want to have a different image than what's in your profile picture, not mandatory, but here's a couple quick examples. I don't have any affiliation with these guys, but I just thought, hey, they have clean, professional, simple channel banners. And here's one I like. This guy, he's got a little bit of a saying, join, Team Stanyo, join the clan, yo. And he talks about what he does here, right? So real estate news and life in Cincinnati, and he's got some football and just, life stuff, right? He's a Cincinnati guy, and we know that through his channel banner. And same for this guy, right? Roman, it looks like he's part of the Wolf Pack, so that's Mike Sherrard's thing. All his guys are crushing it too. So you can see here he has some contact info, name, team name, phone number, email. So if someone wants to get in touch, they can do so pretty easily. Now, in regards to getting this actually done for yourself, there's a couple ways to do it. Number one, you can go to Canva. You can whip it up yourself. Canva, I believe they have a free trial. If not, it's like 15, 20 bucks a month. Or ideally, the better route, check Fiverr and just search, YouTube channel banner, and you could pay somebody 30, 40, 50 bucks one time. They'll do it for you, and they'll do a stellar job. Just make sure you give them high enough quality headshots or photos so they can actually work with something and it's not pixely and grainy, right? Now, in terms of your channel description, right? So here's typically how you should structure it in terms of like when someone clicks your channel, they're going to see your description about, you, right? So ideally, you're going to have some info, right? Not just like more info about this channel. Don't keep it generic. You actually want to customize that, right? So keep it personal, right? Like that guy in Cincinnati, he had some things that he actually liked to do outside of real estate. But you may want to talk briefly about your reputation. Hey, I've been in business for 10 years, serving the local, whatever Cincinnati market. I'm born and raised here. Whatever you think might add any credibility or factor into why someone would want to work with you. You definitely should have a call to action. So this could be something as simple as, hey, click the link below to book in a 15-minute consult with me. Or ideally, you have a lead magnet, right? So, hey, click the link below to get our free guide on the 7 mistakes that home buyers make, costing them $55,000. Or alternatively, on the seller side, something like, hey, here are the 7 simple steps to increase your home value by 5 to 10% before selling. Right? This is going to get you a ton more leads than having someone book in a direct call with you, because that's a really strong call to action, and they might like what you have to offer, but that might just turn them off right now, right? Because maybe they're not ready to buy right now, but they want to buy in the future, right? Lastly, any relevant links. So again, your social media profiles, if you're on Instagram or TikTok, feel free to link those as well. And then lastly, you're going to want to have some keywords as well. So I'm a realtor serving X location. Again, because keep in mind, YouTube is a search engine, you will get indexed higher when you have relevant keywords in your description. right? So hopefully that all makes sense. You can get all of this done really like in 30, 45 minutes. It's not super long. Don't overcomplicate it, but definitely do get it done. All right, now here's a really important one. What type of content should you actually post? Now, this is gonna sound cliche, but your videos have to provide value to your audience, right? And the goal here, think of it this way, is you're not trying to get a listing within your very first video, right? But you are working on building trust with your viewers so that when the time comes, 1, 2, 3, 6 months down the line, they're gonna come to you instead of some random realtor who cold called them or door knocked them or dropped off a flyer, right? Simply because of the fact that you actually helped them and you gave them real value before they were a client of yours, right? So by doing that, you have built up some credibility. So they actually know, like, and trust you a little bit more than the random guy who door knocks them, right? And most realtors just do the traditional stuff. They brute force their way into getting people to sell their homes. Now, does that work? Yeah, of course, everything's gonna work, right? But do you wanna play the numbers game, or do you wanna play it's smart where you have your video assets marketing for you 24/7 doing all the heavy lifting, right? And if you're watching this video, I think you know the answer to that. Now, your content needs to serve two purposes, and number one is going to be to educate your prospect, and number two is going to be to showcase, and I'm going to give you some specific examples of what that actually means. All right, educational content, what kind should you post here? So the goal is to teach your audience something new that they can action right away. And the goal here for you as the realtor is to position yourself as the expert or the trusted authority. So here's the kind of content that you should be posting. Number one, we got your market updates. Now, typically you should do these kind of videos once a month or whenever something big happens in your market that is worth talking about. And just give some commentary about what's happening in your local market and go over some numbers and figures, right? So here's an example of one person here in Nashville, what just happened, Nashville housing market update. It promotes a lot of intrigue because there's a graph that's going down. So it's like, oh shit, what's going on? Right? And here's another classic example I see a ton of people do. It's really important that when you do these kinds of videos that your thumbnail is locked in, and I'm going to go over what that means in a little bit in this video here, because there's going to be a ton of realtors doing the same style of video. So in order to differentiate yourself, the thumbnail and the title are going to play two pretty important roles in order to actually get the clicks. Now, in terms of structuring the videos, it's super simple. So number one, keep it short in regards to your intro, keep that 30 seconds or under. Number two, just go over the current breakdown of data. So compare it with either the previous month or the previous year and talk about what the figures look like. Then number three, using some of the data that you're showing the prospect, give them some of your predictions on what you think is going to happen in the future. Now, obviously you don't have a crystal ball, but you are the expert in your local market, so you can provide some insight into what you think will be going on. And lastly, give some insights on what someone looking to buy or sell should be looking for, right? And the most important part here that I see a ton of people miss is you have to have a quick call to action. So either at the beginning of the video, in the middle, or the end, ideally you have at least two. And you're going to say, hey, click the link below to get your custom list of homes if you're looking to buy in X area, or your custom, free home evaluation report if you're considering selling your property. So those call to actions will typically bring in a lot more lead flow than saying, hey, book me in for a 15-minute strategy session over a Calendly link. Because someone might be on the market to buy or sell, but they might not be ready to transact right away. So by giving them a lower friction call to action, like a custom homes list or a home evaluation, they're still taking a step, but it's not as heavy of a step as actually booking in a call with you, right? So that's a huge piece that I see a lot of realtors miss that really prevents them from getting the lead flow that they should be getting with the views that they already have. Now, in terms of data, use whatever you use in your local market. So in the States, you could be using websites like Redfin or NAR. In Canada, not Zillow, but Pillar 9 or your IDX website or your local, CREB or TREB. There's a ton of them out there, right? If you're a local realtor in your market, you'll know what that is. Number two, evergreen content in regards to neighborhood, community reviews, and really what's going on in your local area. Now, this is super, super, super important, right? Now, evergreen content, you may have heard that term before, but in terms of thinking about it in the context of YouTube, these are things that are going on in your market that are going to be relevant for years instead of just for months. If you think about a market update, no one in October is going to watch a June 2024 market update. Why would they? Right? Versus an evergreen video that I'm going to go over in a second here in terms of examples, people will watch those videos for months or years to come, right? So talk about things, for example, like, things tailored to families or newly married couples, whatever, engaged couples, first-time home buyers, downsizers, right? There's a ton of stuff that you can talk about. And here are like 5 or 6 different examples that actually work really well. So for example, the safest neighborhoods to buy a house in Nashville, or conversely, the worst neighborhoods to buy a place in Nashville, right? Negative hooks typically always perform better than positive ones. Best school districts in Philadelphia, or conversely, worst districts there, right? What's the best neighborhood to raise a family, or what is the worst neighborhood? Pros and cons of living in X neighborhood. Don't move to X area unless you can handle Y. Right, that actually is one that does really, really well in almost every single market, right? So if you don't have that video, go create it and then come back and comment saying, Aaron, I made this video and I got thousands of views, right? Now, a couple examples here, right? Top 5 suburbs in Houston, Texas. And you can see here, we use a tool called vidIQ, you can see that this specific video got 18 times the views as this realtor's other videos. Right, so that's a great video to create. Again, best schools in Nashville as a couple different examples, right? Now, number 3, we have general buying and selling tips. So give practical advice that your audience can actually use. Don't give sucky fluff, in the words of Alex Hormozi, right? You want to give actual value because this might be the first interaction that you have with a possible prospect. So if you're not sure what kind of tips you can provide, think about all the questions that a buyer or seller might have and put them into a video. As a general rule here, one thing to keep in mind is that buyers in one area will be sellers in another. So it's good to have videos that cater to both audiences, right? Because a seller may also buy and a buyer may also sell in the future, right? So here's some video ideas that you can actually steal, and literally, I mean steal these videos because they are proven to work. Like we go through about 375 real estate videos every single week, and we spot the patterns on what works, and we give them to you guys so you can just shortcut your process. So hey, 5 first-time home buyer mistakes, how to properly stage your home, 7 easy ways to increase home value, 3 things that decrease your home value instantly. Just pause the video and take a look at some of these things here. But as a general rule, though, it's nice to have a number in your title. So the 5 things, the 7 things, 3 things. And typically, odd numbers will perform better than even numbers. And as a second rule, I mentioned it earlier, but you're going to want to have those negative hooks. So for example, 5 mistakes to avoid when you're financing your home. Or 3 things that decrease your home value instantly. Right? That's always going to hit harder than saying, hey, 3 things you can do to increase your value. The negative hook is it causes FOMO. People don't want to miss out or lose money, right? Alternatively, plug these things into ChatGPT, get some ideas that you can implement for your local market. Now, here are a couple different examples here. Here's a really good one, right? This guy has a nice title, nice thumbnail, and you can see here 28x the views he normally gets. But this is a super relevant video that's going to attract a really high quality audience, right? Selling your home in 2024, things to do right now. Who else is going to watch that video other than someone who's, considering selling their home? Again, urgent message for Kansas City home buyers in 2023. That's a good one. He just put the date there. So again, it's non-evergreen because now even if the content is relevant for 2024 and beyond, he has 23 in the title. Therefore, people might not watch that. However, the video is still it's a great idea. Next, we'll move on to showcase content. So I see a lot of realtors make showcase content, but they don't always maximize it in the ways they can to generate more lead flow. And this one absolutely crushes me because they're doing all the hard work where they hire the videographer, they go on site, they film it, they edit it, they post it, and they fumble the ball in the last 9 yards. And I'll talk about what that looks like here. So posting content really, in terms of doing showcases, it has 2 purposes. It'll get you buyers and sellers. And the way it does that is buyers will see the homes they've listed and they'll come to you, right? Where it's like, hey, here's what $599 gets you in X market. So you're advertising a house and people are seeing the property and it's like, oh, here's what that much money gets me. So let me reach out to this guy and see what else he's got in that area, or let me see this specific home. Right? So that's how it helps you on the buyer side. But on the seller side, people are going to see, like homeowners are going to see you putting in all this effort to, when you list a home, that, hey, look at all the walkthroughs this guy does and look at all the views that he gets. Therefore, it helps you both on the buyer and the seller side. Right now, some ideas that you can steal are, number 1, just doing property tours. So highlighting the unique features that make a home, really special. So it's like pools or decks or sunrooms or solariums or whatever you got there. You can do coming soon property videos. So that's a great incentive for homeowners who are considering selling. You can say, hey, we're going to do a coming soon video. I have 1,000 subscribers on my channel and look at how many views my last videos got. right? So all these thousands of people who are interested in X area real estate are going to flock to your video. And then lastly, before and after staging transformations, that's a really great video I don't see a ton of, but that's a perfect example of how it shows how you provide value to a home seller. So you can show the befores and afters and how much money additionally they got through staging their home. And really all you're doing is walking around the house kind of showcasing, what's going on in the house. So talk through things and don't just have the generic like camera shot panning through a home. You actually want to talk through things, show people your camera presence and your personality, because again, there's a ton of realtors in your local market and you want to show a homeowner why they should work with you, again, versus that random realtor that just lives down the street or whatever. So here are a few examples right now. The examples here, I wanted to showcase these two specifically because the titles aren't great, but the thumbnails are. And I'll show you what improvements that you can do to the thumbnails, but typically you're going to want to have a large like exterior shot of the house that covers everything. So don't have any interior shots unless it's like a very luxury or opulent home. So a couple examples there, but here are how you can take these two examples and put them on steroids to just skyrocket your views. So what you're going to want to do is have that photo of the external home, then include the price, right? So by literally just doing these two things, you would be so surprised to see how many more views that your videos will get. Literally, nice photo of the outside and then include the price. Now chances are if you have a videographer, you're probably already getting a lot of this stuff done. So just have them snap a nice photo of the exterior and then pop on the price when you list that home tour video and you will get so many more views. It's crazy. Now on to some title and thumbnail do's and don'ts, because I see a ton of mistakes here, and this is like the 80-20 of YouTube, where 20% of the things you're doing, the video idea, the title, and the thumbnail are going to have 80% of the results. So title and thumbnail are super important, but they just don't get enough attention, right? A lot of people overthink it, or they just post whatever, and then they wonder why their videos flop. So here's a great example of what I was showing earlier, right? Instead of saying the home address in the title, I don't really care what the home address is. The home seller might, but other than that, that's really it. Instead, elegant 2024 luxury model house tour near Dallas, Texas from 574.9. That's a much more intriguing video, and if I'm considering buying a home near Dallas, Texas, I want to see how much money, like what I can get for my money, right? So here are some do's, things that you should do when you're coming up with your titles. So make them SEO optimized by adding words like that are relevant to your market. So real estate for sale or luxury home tour in X area. Describe some of the features if you can, if they're relevant. So 4-bed, 5-bath, or with the pool, or with the patio, or with games room, with the home theater, whatever you think might be intriguing for your possible buyers. Definitely do mention the home city and state, or if you're in Canada, the province. And lastly, make sure if you're doing a market update, for example, that you have the location and you have the date that your market update is pertaining to. You'd be surprised to see how many people do market updates and they don't include the location and the time frame, right? So you need to do that, and then you also need to give them an inkling of what's going to happen in the market, or your video needs to do that before they actually click it. So have some kind of, not clickbaity stuff, but say like, hey, our price is falling, or is everybody panic selling, right? Something that will intrigue a possible viewer to click your video. Now here are the don'ts. So do not make your titles super long. Ideally keep them less than 70 characters. And don't add your name or your phone number or your brokerage or your team name. Nobody cares and nobody's searching those things. So by you putting those in your title, you are hurting your video's indexing and you will show lower in search rankings. And this is the biggest one I see in terms of mistakes that realtors make, where it's do not add the home address in the title. Nobody cares except for the home seller, and nobody's going to be searching that, right? So look at the examples I posted earlier, and those are going to be great examples to copy. Now here's some do's and don'ts for thumbnails. So definitely do add the home's price when you're doing those listing tour videos. Definitely have a clear picture of the listing on the exterior, so don't have weird interior shots, don't have any irrelevant information. And for the market update videos, add something dramatic or something that really triggers curiosity. So here's two examples here, right, where it's like both are market update videos, but in this guy's, he says, hey, is the Calgary real estate market finally slowing down? And look at his facial expression and look at the background. It's all dark and gloomy, and you really think to yourself before you click that video, oh geez, is the market slowing down? I don't know, I guess I have to click the video, watch it, and find out, right? Versus this guy's here, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And you can see one video got 12,000 views and then one got 20, right? So title and thumbnail have a huge impact on getting views. Now, generally, don't add unnecessary objects like your name or your logo or your brokerage. This is super irrelevant. Nobody cares what the address is. I want to know about the house specifically. Right, so don't do this. That's a pretty costly mistake there. Now, one thing as well here is don't say the same thing you said in the title and the thumbnail. You want to keep them separate, right? Because you have a limited amount of real estate. So if you're saying the same thing in the title and the same thing in the thumbnail, it is a waste of space. And ideally, you don't want to have more than 5 words in the thumbnail. Instead, you want to have like 1 or 2 or 3 words kind of tops, and have a photo of yourself with some sort of expression that will tell the viewer what you're going to talk about in that video. Now, here's a quick comparison of how someone's views have changed literally by just changing their title and thumbnails. So at the very bottom here, this realtor, everything he filmed was exactly the same. But if you look at his views on the bottom here, I'm kind of cutting off half the screen here, but you see all the ones in red where it's like 208, 537, this one got 1.4, but 181, right? And you look at the videos on top where literally same video, same style, he didn't change anything except for the titles and thumbnails, is 725, 571, 723, this one's got 3K, 3.4, 1.5, 822, right? So literally by changing these 2 things, your home listing videos, your tours should get 1,000 views plus. So a lot of realtors get that wrong, where they don't get the views that they really deserve. Now, if you do all the stuff I mentioned in this video consistently, you will start growing your channel and get more leads without a doubt. Now, I only offer a few spots every week, but if you want me to personally audit your advertising strategy or your YouTube channel to give you the secret sauce that I use for my private clients 100% for free, then click the link below for a free strategy session. Also, a lot of stuff I left out in this video because it would just be way too long, so if you want more insights on how you can get more listings, subscribe to my channel for new videos every single Monday, and we'll see you in the next one.